look at the dressing, when you see our characters
Oh, yeah,
wearing
yeah, yeah.
coats, coats are not really an African thing, it's
Yes,
imported.
that's true.
Even the names, the names of some of the characters, those are not African names, they are imported. The fact that we're using the English language and we're even translating to French, the ideal scenario would have been we produce them in our local languages.
Hello, guys. Welcome to another episode of Zebra Comics Podcast. Another very interesting and educative Zebra Comics podcast, as always, with our very interesting guest. So, our guest for today is Mr. Njoka Cyril. Welcome, Mr. Njoka Cyril.
Thank you.
How was your weekend?
Weekend was awesome. Spent it watching movies, reading novels.
No work, or it was just...
No work.
Oh, that's interesting. Okay, Mr. Njoka, I will be asking you some questions based on this topic, the influence of African culture on comics.
Okay.
So, our first question is, what is the global perception of African culture on the international stage today?
I think African cultures are loved, starting from music. Yes, that's the very first aspect of African cultures. I would say cultures because there are many.
Yeah.
Yes, so the very first aspect of our cultures on this continent, that's the very first aspect that's exported is music, with the Afropop wave being spearheaded by Nigeria and South Africa, of course.
Okay.
When you talk of another aspect of culture is cuisine. When I look at expatriates or tourists who come, they appreciate the local cuisine, be it in Cameroon, be it in Nigeria, be it in the Congo. And then comics too. From the little time I've been out of the continent, I have noticed the appreciation Europeans, for example, have for our content.
Okay.
Yes, because African cultures they have not yet been exploited in entertainment media. I mean, we have a lot of entertainment media based on our cultures and as far as comics are concerned, but they have not really been exploited. It's still kind of new to them, and I think they are loving it from the reactions I get.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, and aside all the beauty, because the African culture is very beautiful, we have the food and all that, why exactly do you think it's important to promote this culture?
It is important because our culture is what identifies, or what we use to identify ourselves. It's our identity. It's like that identity card. When you look at Americans, for example, they invest very much in culture because it is part of their soft power. So we as Africans, from the different African nations, from the different parts of Africa, we also have to invest in our cultures and promote them so that we could also have some place, or could have space on the world stage as far as soft power is concerned.
Okay.
Yes, we could have something to say because today we have people who want to look like Japanese. That's because the Japanese have pushed out their culture through media entertainment. You have people who aspire to travel to the United States, who aspire to travel to France. It's not because of the military might or any other thing. It's mainly because of culture. They want to identify with what seems cool. And Americans and Europeans and the Asians have made their cultures look cool. So Africans too, they have to do that.
Okay. And do you think Africans themselves are ready to promote this culture? Like, are they ready? Are they patient enough? Because, it might not be easy. Like, the beginning might not be easy since it's something new and the Western media powerhouses may find it maybe very difficult to adapt to.
I think they are, because there are lots and lots of initiatives, countless, just here in Cameroon. I mean, I can't count the number of people who invest their energy, their time, their financial resources to promote our cultures, be it from organizing musical shows, that's either like music concerts, dance shows, people who invest in movies, people who do comics, I mean, even literature. There are many, many, many people. So yes, I think there are.
And which African countries do you think have grown because they exploited this culture adequately?
Oh, Nigeria.
Okay.
Nigeria is the first.
I thought it would be South Africa. I don't know why, for
No,
some reason.
Nigeria comes in first because of Nollywood. I can't remember which is first, but you know, Nigeria at a certain point they used to release more movies than the United States, which is the main movie powerhouse of the world. Nigerians used to release more movies, and that was facilitated by these home video entertainment systems, the advent of cheaper cameras. I think Nigeria's rival as far as volume of content is concerned is Bollywood, that's India. So Nigeria is the first. Then that's with movies and music.
Okay,
Yes.
and is it different with comics?
With comics, yes, they're also spearheading. I mean, you have Nigerian studios that have gotten noticed by the big houses in the West. You have Kogali that works with Disney. You have Comic Republic, which got a deal with Universal. I think, yes, that's Universal. Now, after Nigeria, I think we have South Africa too. South Africa is very prominent. Then maybe Ghana.
I was expecting Cameroon at some point.
No, Cameroon is there, but we are mostly known for football, I would say.
Okay.
With Eto'o. Yes.
Yeah.
So, but Cameroon is also known. And then you have Cote d'Ivoire. In fact, I think each and every African country is doing something to push out the cultures, the local cultures, yes, in a unique way. But I'll give the Oscar to Nigeria.
Okay. Kudos to Nigeria. So how efficient do you think this can help us promote the culture?
Sorry, you mean
how efficient do you think comics?
Comics.
Yeah,
okay.
sorry, comics can help us promote the African culture.
Okay. Today, okay, personally, let me start with myself. I'm a very big fan of manga.
Okay.
I love Japan a lot. I mean, I idolize Japan. That is because of manga. I would love to visit the United States because of their movies.
Okay.
You know, they've given out this very good image about their country, whereas they have their issues. You know, some of the issues that when I look at, I'm like, nah, I wouldn't go there. So these are countries that have used comics to paint a very beautiful image of their country. They make the countries look perfect, you see. So Africans too, in general, it's up to us to actually seize this media and use it to promote the continent, promote our cultures. And, you know, just by promoting, let's just say Cameroon, for example, you do a comic centered around some, let's say the Ngondo Festival, for example. You put it out there, you have people who don't know about this festival, who discover it, and it influences tourism. And that's more money coming into the country. Businesses could thrive. Yes. So Africans in general, I would say, they have to use every opportunity possible to market themselves. And comics are a very good medium for that, especially as they touch, like they are mostly consumed by young people. Yes. So, and you know, when in upbringing, it's easier to pass a message to a young person than an older person. Yes. So we could use comics to do that.
And do you know? Can you name some particular books that have African comic books that have helped promote the culture in one way or the other?
Okay. There is, of course, Charity Starts at Home. Beast of Tazeti.
Okay.
Zebra Comics. Yes. You have Beast of Tazeti. which pushes for the cultures of the continent. And I like the way the creators of Beast of Tazeti crafted the wall.
Yeah.
It's each geographical region of Africa is represented. You have the central,
Okay.
you have the west, you have the northern, the eastern, the southern. So anybody from on this continent will feel represented in some way in that comic. And it's not only about the clothes they wear, it's the
Yeah.
lifestyle. So when I say the clothes they wear, it's kind of just superficial. Now when you go into the lifestyle, you're going deeper. So people from this part of Africa will really feel represented. Then after that, I can say we have Malaika by Unique Studios,
Okay.
which presents you have this queen who is, I think it's based on a true story. The name may
Wow.
not be Malaika. Yes, I've seen different adaptations. I don't know if it's Amina or, well, yes, but it's based on a true story of a Nigerian queen.
Mhm.
Yeah. So the comic Malaika alone does a lot, to promote that part of Nigeria. I think is it Benin?
Okay.
Yes. Well, I need to go back to that comic. I can't remember the details. Then you have Kwezi by Loyisom Kize of South Africa. When just by looking at the designs, it's South African. So that's him promoting
Yeah.
South Africa in his own way. When you go to East Africa, there is Eton Comics with what's that comic again? Oh God, I've forgotten the title. Besara will kill me. I've forgotten the title, yes, but he's promoting Ethiopian cultures through his comic.
Okay.
Yeah.
So let's come back home. Zebra Comics.
Okay.
What do you think Zebra Comics is doing to make sure that their comics or their product helps to promote the African culture? What do you think they are doing? Or are they doing enough? Or do you think they still need to do more?
Okay, so as far as promoting African cultures at Zebra Comics is concerned, I would say we are not yet doing enough, but we are doing our best with the limited resources we have. For now, our comics are mainly Cameroonian, but we're also trying to touch other regions of the continent, because we can't say African if the Nigerian can't open our app and feel represented, if a Rwandan can't open the app and feel represented, if a Congolese or an Ivorian or Botswana, Namibia or the Gambia. So we are working to reach out to creators from these different zones,
Yes.
to bring their stories and tell them. So we are not yet doing enough, but we're working on that. It's a work in progress.
So what do you think can be done to, I don't know, to put you guys up there or higher than you think you are, or as high as you think you are supposed to be? What do you think you're supposed to do?
It's just the work, constant work and dedication like we've always been doing. Right now, Zebra Comics is, well, dubbed by others as the leader in African comics and webtoon. And I think it's because of our consistency. We have the volume of the contents, because we have over 70 titles right now.
Wow.
Of comics and illustrated stories for kids. There's a volume, there's a quality, you see. And in all of these stories, we are pushing for our cultures. It's our main editorial policy, because people reach out to us wanting to publish. I mean, we've had solicitations from people from France. There was even an Italian who wrote to me at one point. Yes, he wanted to publish, but I told him he can publish, but his story must be African, or it must promote African cultures.
But how is he supposed to do that since he's...
It's possible. Reach out to an African, maybe writer,
he could just
for
learn
example.
more about the culture.
Well, yes, he could learn, even though I personally doubt he would be able to do much, because, I mean, it's like me writing about, let's say, Japan. I consume a lot of Japanese content, but I still don't know Japan.
Do you?
So I can't pretend or claim to write about Japan. So I need to be there to live it. I need to eat, breathe, live, smell Japan before I'm able to write about Japan. Whatever somebody out of the continent who's never been here is writing about a continent, it's always going to be superficial. He could borrow the clothing, he could borrow the names. Yes, that's good. But there is a way of life which is African in general.
Yes, that's very
Yes, like this community life. Because one thing about Africans is we have this community life, we share. There's the Ubuntu concept, I am because you are, I think,
Okay.
yes. Whereas when you look at Europe or the United States, for example, they are very individualistic, you see.
And which are some of the comics on the Zebra Comics app that you feel like have been used or where, how can I even put this? Were very well written, the stories are very well written that could help promote the African culture, aside Beast of Gazette.
Okay. Anaki,
Okay.
Njoku,
Any romance?
romance. Let's see, just give me a moment, please. Let me brainstorm.
Okay.
I could say Sugar Daddy Desires. Because, well, it's a romance. It's the Sugar Daddy Desires is set in a metropolitan area, but
Okay.
yes, when you look at the way the characters behave, it's typically African. So I could say Sugar Daddy Desires. And why the question romance?
Because I love romance.
no.
Everybody should love romance.
Should. No.
Why? What do you love?
I love action. I love blood. I love seeing people fighting.
I guess you kill people so much in
Oh
your
yes,
comics.
yes. Well, not yet. The comics, most of my comics are still at the beginning. I would say they are not yet advanced into the stories, but the plot is not yet like the what has been released. I haven't yet gone deeper into the story, but I promise you, there'll be a lot of killing. I like Game of Thrones.
Nah, that's not good. Love is nice. Romance stories are very interesting. They're just so nice. They are soft.
That's your point of view.
Ha, no, it should be everybody's point of view. Serious. It's
No.
just standard. I think it's standard.
No. We could go on this forever. We'll never reach an understanding.
Okay, so does Zebra Comics have a particular formula they use in promoting African culture through their comics?
Not really. We don't kind of predict or force a formula on any creator.
Okay.
The creators, they introspect, come up with the stories and pitch, and we analyze. Given that we are Africans, we are Cameroonians, we analyze based on our own experiences. If we don't feel it is African enough, we send the writer back to the drawing board to go work on it again.
Okay. So, have you guys ever thought of maybe putting like mixing both cultures, Western and maybe African in the same comic?
Yes, of course. When you look at the dressing, when you see our characters
Oh,
wearing
yeah.
coats, coats are not really an African thing. It's
Yes,
imported.
that's true.
Even the names, the names of some of the characters, those are not African names. They are imported. The fact that we're using the English language and we're even translating to French, the ideal scenario would have been we produce them in our local languages. But now, given that we're a business, we look at the market, the demography. If, for example, I am from So, if I write a comic, if the comic is published in Lamso, sorry, how many people will be able to?
Okay,
Yes.
You said so after you said lamb, so why?
So the people, Lamso the language.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
So if I write a comic and publish in Lamso, of course the Nsọ people or the Lamso community, they'll love it, they'll read it. But when you look at the world, I mean, the globe, I think what's the population of the world? Is it 8 billion? I mean, how many? Like, what's the percentage of Lamso in that?
Yeah.
This is not to belittle my people, but we're quite insignificant when you look at the major languages in the world. Yes. The major languages that's English, Arabic, Chinese, Hindu, you know. So being business people, we will target those languages first. Then eventually out of some nationalism, oh, or like, should I say tribalism, we may come down to the local languages. Not that we're putting that aside. So
Okay.
yes, those are the aspects of our comics that, like I said, you have the dressing, you have the names and the language that
The
shows that
dressing
we've blended,
especially.
yes, we've blended the Western and African cultures.
So where do you see Africa in the future when it comes to promoting their culture? Do you think at some point we will be, I don't know, it will be well, I don't know if I should say, well spread enough to an extent where they will find us as interesting as we find them?
I think
Would it be the same level? Do you think
the
we are ever going to reach that level?
I think we've already reached.
Really?
Yes, we've already reached because when I look at, for example, Asians today, like there are Koreans whose whose songs have this Afro pop beat in them. It's African.
Okay.
You see, look at the hairstyle. They're copying
Braids and all,
exactly.
yeah.
So those are aspects of our culture that have already been validated by the West. You know that they like.
Mm-hmm.
It's all about promoting them. Music already dominates. Film is coming up. Comics are coming up. So it's just a matter of time. The main thing slowing down most creators is the resources. They lack the adequate resources. I think music is even easier to export music because everybody listens to music.
Okay.
It's just the genres that matter. But now not everybody watches movies. Not everybody reads comics. And now when you go to those who read comics, people have their preferences.
Obviously.
Yes. So with Zebra Comics, oh, believe me, if we had the resources that I would say a company like Disney, for example, has, oh my God, people will not breathe. They'll sleep, they'll eat, they'll drink, they'll breathe Zebra Comics all their life. So that's, like I said, the main thing the African creators lack is the resources compared to the Western giants.
So if you think we are being provided with with necessary resources, we might be able to reach that level.
Yes, we would. We would. I mean,
aside music and or maybe
yes, if we have those resources. Okay, at Zebra Comics, for example, we got noticed by Warner Bros. Warner
Wow.
Bros. Discovery. That's through DC Comics, their comics production branch, comics publishing branch. That already tells you a lot. That's a lot of validation. I mean, to date, I'm still excited. Like, man, the House of Harry Potter noticed us. The House of Game of Thrones noticed us.
yeah, that's a big win.
Yes, we haven't even, like I always say in French, on est qu'à 1% de notre capacité.
Yeah.
So we haven't done anything. There is a lot of potential which has not been exploited. And I bet you there are many creators out there. If they
Guys,
have the
I hope
adequate
you're hearing
resources,
no.
if they have the adequate resources, oh, believe me, they'll do wonders. People would, I mean, you have people flocking into this continent, flocking into Cameroon, to Ethiopia, to Nigeria, because they've discovered something about these countries from the comics.
Guys, Zebra Comics have not started, so
No,
you guys should watch out for more.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, thank you very much, Mr. Suru, for joining us.
Thank you.
It was very interesting and especially educative because aside entertainment and all, we should be able to learn something. So, one word for those who don't know about the Zebra Comics app yet. What do you think you can tell them?
All roads lead to Play Store and App Store. Just go type zebra, like the animal, the zebra. Very
Comics.
cute animal, yes. Zebra Comics, download it, and like I always say, the most eco-friendly way, the most ecological way of visiting the African continent is by downloading the Zebra Comics app and reading the comics. Yes, I mean, you know, from the comfort of your home, you just download the app. You have access to Africa in general through the Zebra Comics app. So just go to Play Store, download it, get a subscription, and you have tons and tons of content, lots of niceties from us.
So guys, as you heard from Mr. Suru, just download the Zebra Comics app. It's on Play Store and on App Store. Any recommendation for this week?
For this week, Sugar daddy desires. No, okay, that's really popular. Okay, any recommendations? I'll say cancel.
Okay.
It's a very nice story, yes.
Alright.
Especially as we live in the era of cancel culture. So advice, I'll recommend cancel.
I think I'm going to take that too. Thank you very much for watching, guys, and see you in the next episode. Be cool.